Welcome to Connections. I'm your host, April Healy. Guys, welcome back. I have Kimberly Edwards sitting back with me, and I'm super excited to have you join us in just getting to know more about Kimberly. Okay, hey,
Yay.
Welcome back, friend.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
Whoop. Okay, let me ask you a question. Can you tell us about your salvation story?
Okay. There's actually two parts to it. Okay, I was actually an athlete in high school. I think I said that in the last segment.
we love to know that about you, though.
Yes. Yes, I was an athlete, and I actually was a part of Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we had summer camp, and so I actually got saved, or actually said the salvation prayer was in 1994, June of 94. I was led to Christ at FCA camp. So awesome. That happened. And then obviously, just not really sure what things like that. I did grow up in church, however. I grew up in Methodist church. And so you don't necessarily it's just different. It's not, but as far as I guess you basically come up to the altar at 13 and you're responsible for your own life at that point, spiritually.
Oh, okay.
But so as far as me actually saying the prayer of salvation, that happened at FCA camp. And then when I went into the military, I still wasn't I wasn't really sure because I didn't quite understand. And so my husband, Mike, he was a friend of mine, like a really good friend that we met at church actually. And he just was a friend, didn't ever really try to make moves on me or anything like that. And so I really appreciated that about him. That was very different. I hadn't necessarily seen that from other guys my age. So he just really loved on me and just spent a lot of quality time being my friend. And then there was a couple over in Germany as well, and they were really instrumental in my life. And so I just kind of led myself back to the Lord through just a series of events and just really wanting to, dedicate my whole heart and my whole life and my whole body to Christ. And so they led me through that. And so that was my experience. It wasn't like fireworks or anything like that, you hear people who have these amazing stories of, man, the Holy Spirit came to the room and there were angels everywhere and, I was speaking in tongues for 5 hours. My experience was nothing like that. However, I just want to encourage people who don't have that, fireworks story of salvation, that doesn't make it any less important. It doesn't make you any less important either, just because your story doesn't look like someone else's. And I feel like that is my life story, or my life message, is that, never compare to what someone else does or doesn't have, because your story is just as unique and just as important. So
that's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
How long ago did you and Mike meet?
We actually met 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. In January. So this month, 20 years ago.
That's amazing. Are you guys going to do anything to celebrate?
Well, I'm going to be 40 this year.
Whoop, whoop.
So we'll probably do something for that. So just kind of tie things together.
Tie it all in. That's awesome. And you guys have been married 20 years? 18.
It'll be 8. Well, we've been married 18 years. It'll be 19 this year. So.
Okay. And so how did he end up pursuing you?
Well, we were friends. So the first day that he met me, the first day he saw me actually, he was like, God, is that my wife?
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was in the choir, and we didn't wear robes, but I would get all of my skirts cut to 19 inches because I had nice legs from running track.
Right.
And I was like, I'm 19. I mean, of course I could show off my legs. I worked hard for them. So I was wearing my little skirts in the choir. And he asked God if I was his wife, and God told him yes. And so he had a list, obviously, of what he was believing for in a wife. And I didn't necessarily fit all of the spiritual stuff just yet, but he just really believed God, and God told him just to be my friend. And that's exactly what he did. He was my friend, and just really helped me through a lot of difficult situations that I came into over in Germany, but he was just really there for me, and I appreciated that about him. And one day I was just like, God, I just want someone to love me for me, and not just how some of the guys, how younger guys can be. And God was like, he showed me Mike's face, and I was like, Brother Edwards?
That's what you
what?
said?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this then. So I actually asked him to be my Valentine. So it kind of shifted our relationship from friendship to, okay, this is different than just going to dinner.
Yeah.
And kind of went from there. He asked me to be his girlfriend on February 15th, and we started dating for about 6 months. Okay. And then we got married, and yeah.
That's awesome. So how long were you friends until you ended up dating, I guess?
A little over a year.
Okay.
We were friends.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And everybody at church was like, "That's your husband, girl." I was like, "No, it's not. It's just my friend."
Like way before you guys were dating.
Yes, when we were just friends. And even when we go out shopping at the grocery store, people will be like, "You and your husband." I'm like, "That's not my husband. This is my friend."
We're just friends.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Like, friend card. And we'll both look and we like laugh about it. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. But he never told me that, what God said to him. And I think it probably would have like scared me off maybe.
Yeah.
Because I just thought he was a nice guy,
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "He loves you." I'm like, "No, he's just nice."
Yeah.
So, but he is still nice. But
Yeah. He's one of the nicest people that I've ever met. He's so nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So those times that you were speaking about in Germany, like those hard moments, how did you navigate? Maybe if you want to say what one of them, or you don't have to, but if you want to, and then like how did you navigate through them?
Right.
How did you navigate through disappointment? All those questions.
Well, so growing up, it was me and my brother and my dad and my mom. So we had a real tight knit family, the perfect family of 4 type thing.
Yeah.
Lived in a home and just everything seemed perfect. And then 6 months after I was in the military, my father passed away. He had a massive heart attack, and it was really unexpected. And so it just really took all of us for like, wow, like, did that just happen? He was like only 44 at the time. And that was really hard for me to even just process like what just happened, or like who's going to take care of my mom, or just like, because I was living in a whole nother country basically at the time. And so just really trying to figure out what that looked like. Mike and also the church family over in Germany was extremely instrumental in helping out with that. But just throughout the years, just even dealing with other things that came across as extremely disappointing, just even like, just having your faith in your church leadership and things like that, and just, things not necessarily turning out how you thought they would or should. Just really turning all of your affections back to God, and not so much relying on that person being your hero, but just having God as your hero, and just understanding that, he never leaves us nor forsakes us. And just really asking him, okay, I went through that season, but like, what were you showing me in that moment? What did I gain from that situation? And I'm always one to ask like how or why. Yeah. But then again, it's all about your heart in that moment, and like, what is your heart positioning as far as like, why are you asking why? Or, even like when you're dealing with the disappointment, just going back to him, just crawling up in his lap and just saying, that really hurt, or that just didn't feel good, and just really getting his, heart on that. So, yeah.
And so now that you've gone 20 years past like that amazing athlete, like how have you navigated? Do you still love it and wish it was there? And if so, like how do you walk through navigating that part of life?
That's really good. So like for the most part, like through my 20s and then halfway into my 30s, I would be like, man, what if I would have ran track or done tried out for the Olympics instead of going into the military, different things like that. My dad actually, encouraged that I went into the military, so that was why I did it. Yeah. But I did have a scholarship to a Division I school. And so one thing that I did do that helped out a whole lot was I actually became a track coach for a bit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And just even smelling the rubber of the track kind of like calmed my nerves a little,
I 100% know what you're talking about.
So that helped out a lot. And I actually helped a few of the kids that I coached win state. So that was great too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is great. I'm able to give back, and then also, fulfill those longings within myself. But once again, just really not wrapping my identity up into that. Okay. And just being okay with the life that has, definitely been chosen for me. I feel like I wouldn't have met my husband had I been running track, because we were living 2 totally different lives, as far as being in the military versus being an athlete.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely one thing is when I do work out, is either 0 to 100. So when I start working out again, I'm like all in, and then I wind up being sore and different things like that because I just go all out because I'm like, I gotta do this, you know, so.
I as well know.
Right. But so just really encouraging people to not feel like you're a loser because you're not where you thought you'd be. Because like for my whole childhood, I kept being told that I was going to be in the Olympics and I was going to win championships and different things like that.
Yeah.
But just knowing that, you know, I can win championships for Jesus now.
Come on.
So yeah, and just really encourage others to be okay with where they are and not feel like they missed out on something as a result of the path that they're on. So
okay,
yeah.
Love it. Thanks. Yeah. That's really a great answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's tons of revelation in that.
Thank you.
So thanks for joining us, Kim. I'm so glad you were here with us.
Yeah.
And you guys, thanks so much for joining us, and join us again next time. We're going to have tons more people. So we love you.